Good morning, and a warm welcome to your show, Sunny Mornings, Los Angeles. I'm your host, Melissa, and it's Friday, May 1st. You'll be interested to know, 175 years ago, today, in 1851, London opened the first great international exposition in a dazzling crystal palace, showcasing industrial innovation, fine arts, and inventions from around the world. The gathering celebrated human creativity and technological progress, setting a global model for cultural exchange and inspiring future public exhibitions and universal curiosity. So now you know. And now, it's time for the Surf Report. This morning, it's looking fair with waves around 2 feet. The wind is offshore at 6 miles per hour, keeping conditions clean. Throughout the morning, wave heights drop to 1 to 2 feet by 9 a.m. and remain steady until noon. Expect winds to shift to sideshore and then onshore later in the day, adding some texture to the surface. Best time to ride is at 8 a.m. with a 2-foot incoming high tide, when the west-southwest swell is 2 feet at 6 seconds, and the offshore wind is 6 miles per hour. The first high tide on Friday will be 3.5 feet at 10:15 a.m., followed by a 1.5-foot low tide at 3:15. The nearshore buoy at Santa Monica Pier reads 64 degrees for the water temperature. Conditions remain clean with 1-foot waves on Saturday morning, ideal for beginners. However, by the afternoon, the surf turns choppy as winds pick up to 9 miles per hour. On Sunday, expect similar 1+ foot waves, but with choppy conditions persisting throughout the day. Monday sees a slight increase to 2 feet, but remains choppy, making for a challenging paddle out. This morning, there's patchy fog, and it feels like 61 degrees with 5 mile per hour wind. The sunset will take place at 7:37, and it will rise again tomorrow at 6:03. Looking ahead in the weather. Saturday will be mostly sunny with highs near 64 and a northeast breeze up to skip. Sunday and Monday warm up with Sunday near 68 and Monday near 72, staying partly to mostly sunny with lows in the upper 40s to mid-50s. A slight chance of rain returns Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday night with highs near 71 and overnight lows around 57. Bonjour, food enthusiasts. This podcast is brought to you by Versailles Cafe and Pastries in Encinitas. Nestled on El Camino Real South, just north of Encinitas Boulevard, this cafe is a haven for culinary delights. Indulge in their amazing Eggs Benedict or their gluten-free crepes. You can grab a panini for lunch or just breeze on through to get your morning coffee. They are open every day from 8 to 5. So stop on by and don't forget to tell them Sunny Morning sent you. In local news, California's Secretary of State recently announced that a tax chopping proposition is officially eligible for the November ballot. This measure centers around LA's mansion tax and could bring joy to anti-tax advocates and real estate developers, while causing concern for city governments and public sector unions. Branded the Local Taxpayer Protection Act, the measure aims to sharply cap municipal transfer taxes and complicate voter-sponsored tax increases in local elections. Cities like Berkeley, San Mateo, and Alameda, which rely heavily on these taxes for funding, could be hit particularly hard. Now on to sports. The $13 billion World Cup is set to be the most lucrative competition in the history of sport, despite some of the 48 competing countries struggling to make ends meet. FIFA President Gianni Infantino described the event as the greatest event that humanity has ever seen. FIFA's financial report indicates that the organization expects to earn $13 billion from the 4-year cycle, with nearly $9 billion anticipated this year. In comparison, the Paris 2024 Olympics recently generated $5 billion. Further details will be revealed on Thursday as Infantino discusses FIFA's budget for 2027 to 2030. In local sports, the Dodgers head to St. Louis tonight for a critical road game against the Cardinals, looking to snap a 2-game losing streak. Emmett Sheehan takes the mound at 5:15, facing Matthew Liberatore in a matchup that could spark LA's offense. The defending champs are sitting pretty at 20-11, but the bats have gone quiet since the Colorado series. Max Muncy has been the bright spot. The 35-year-old is crushing it with a .387 average and 9 homers, ranking in the 96th percentile for batting run value. Meanwhile, Dave Roberts is keeping Shohei Ohtani's workload measured on his pitching days, prioritizing the superstar's health for the long October run ahead. Over in Houston, the Lakers face a win-or-go-home Game 6 against the Rockets at 6:30. LA leads the series 3-2, and a victory sends them to the second round for the first time in 3 years. Austin Reaves returns from a 9-game absence, giving the squad the reinforcement they desperately need against Kevin Durant and a top-5 defense. LeBron James is averaging 22.2 in the series, but Houston's momentum is real. They have won the last 2 in Houston to turn this into a pressure cooker. The Rockets clawed back from 3 down to 3-2, but the Lakers still control their destiny on home court. In top news, you are probably paying more for insurance lately. A new analysis suggests that Americans are being overcharged by $150 billion annually for home, auto, and business insurance. This analysis by the Vanderbilt Policy Accelerator details how insurers are paying out less on claims than they did decades ago. In 2024, for every $1 collected in premiums, insurers reimbursed 62 cents for claims, down from an average of 80 cents in the 1980s and 1990s. Brian Shearer, Director of Competition and Regulatory, stated that the low loss ratios indicate the insurance industry is charging too much. In business news, credit expert warns borrowers about the American drain as new mortgage scoring models take effect. For millions of invisible Americans who have paid rent on time for years, but lacked a traditional credit score, the door to the American dream just swung wide open. However, one expert warns not to trip on the threshold. Following a landmark announcement from the Department of Housing and Urban Development and the Federal Housing Finance Agency to accept VantageScore 4.0 and FICO Score 10T, the mortgage industry is bracing for a surge of new applicants. Micah Smith, a leading credit repair influencer, says that while the inclusion of rent and utilities is a landmark shift, borrowers must be wary of the American drain. Smith cautions that the new models are more rigorous than many realize. He states, "People say getting a home is the American dream. I call it the American drain when you do not do it properly." The acceptance of VantageScore 4.0 represents the first major change to mortgage credit requirements in over 3 decades. In crypto movement, Bitcoin is down 3% for the week to $77,000. Ethereum is down 5% to about $2,000. And XRP is down 5% to $1.37. Moving on to a more local vibe. In our community spotlight on health and wellness, we are working with a national Pilates studio to bring you some free classes, so listen up. Check out Club Pilates, with several locations in the San Diego area. Pilates presents a comprehensive wellness approach, cultivating strength, reducing tension, and elevating mental well-being. Scientific research affirms its benefits. So now you can check out Club Pilates for a free class, with locations in Encinitas, Solana Beach, Oceanside, La Jolla, and more. Just be sure to tell them Sunny Morning sent you by. And now, back to the show. Let's talk tech. In the Musk v. Altman case, a judge warns lawyers that artificial intelligence itself is not on trial. On April 30th, 2026, in Oakland, California, tensions rose during Elon Musk's testimony against OpenAI. Musk's attorney, Stephen Molo, raised concerns about the potential for artificial intelligence to cause human extinction, prompting Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers to refocus the discussion. Rogers emphasized the trial's focus on Musk's claim that OpenAI CEO Sam Altman betrayed public trust for personal gain. This lawsuit reflects a long-standing feud between the two former associates, filled with public disputes. And in entertainment news, the follow-up to The Devil Wears Prada is arriving in theaters on Friday, with Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep, Stanley Tucci, and Emily Blunt reprising their roles 2 decades later. This long-awaited sequel follows the original, adapted from Lauren Weisberger's 2003 novel, inspired by her experiences with former Vogue editor-in-chief Anna Wintour. The first film, featuring Hathaway as aspiring journalist Andy Sachs, grossed $327 million worldwide, becoming a lasting pop culture phenomenon. Critics described the film as pretty and polished and preposterous. Well, alrighty folks, it's time for the quote of the day. And today, our quote comes from the American inventor and visionary, Thomas Edison. And he said, "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration, highlighting the relentless effort behind human creativity and technological progress." And that's a wrap for this morning. You can check out our Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok for some captivating aerial videos with local news and the surf reports. Have an amazing day, my good friends. We'll see you tomorrow with another episode of Sunny Mornings, Los Angeles.